This is a training video for document revision workflows in Viewpoint. I put together a small list of some items that we'll be going through in this training video. Items 1 to 21. It's a step-by-step guide of how you build a document revision workflow in Viewpoint. So the workflows themselves will be built in the project template and they are located under the administration tool. Once they are built in the template, when the template is copied over to the project folder, they will become part of the project folder. Once the workflow parameters are met, the workflow will be automatically triggered and begin on the document. I'm just going to move across now to Viewpoint. We're going to do this workflow in the training area. If we open the training area and open up the training project and click on the administrating button down the bottom. That will open up the administration tools, and you will see in the middle there is workflows. I'll double click on workflows. We'll open up a separate window. There's already a workflow built in this project and it was built by Roxandra. I am able to click on that workflow and go in and edit. Click on RP test, that's the name of it. We'll open up Roxandra's workflow and I can do whatever I want to it. I'm just going to close that one and click on leave. So the top right hand side there is a button called add workflow. So I'll add a new workflow, and then on the top left there is a button called new workflow. So click on new workflow. This will open the workflow window, as you can see in the back, and it also opens the workflow configuration page. So the name, I'm going to just call this technical submittal process. The description is the same. We will not tick mandatory, we'll leave that blank. And then the applicable type is, you have a few options. There's document revision, form revision, static virtual container, and static virtual container revision. So this is a document revision workflow, so we click document revision. And there's a few tick boxes you can select. So show last visible revisions, yes. Enable secure markups, yes. Do not email owner at termination. Well, I would like an email at termination, so we will leave that one blank. There's also a number of filters you can assign to a workflow that will enable you to drill down a bit further with the workflow. So you can assign a workflow to a particular folder and a particular status of document. So for this particular one, we will select filter by status. We want this to be the final documents, and then filter by container. So this is how you select a folder. So I'll pick something in the training container. I'll just pick RP2 test. So that could be the technical submittal folder. So that's how you assign the workflow directly to the technical submittals. Click OK. And we also want to make sure we tick the button just above the filters. Allow workflow filters must match. So all the filters that we selected must match for the workflow to begin. So enable that. And then we want to hit apply. So that's just set up the parameters for our workflow. And you see it appears here in the top left, the first node. So on the left bar you have standard nodes, advanced nodes, and template nodes. Standard nodes includes decisions, notifications, and terminations. So a decision is a question and it can have multiple outcomes. Notification will just send an email notification, and then termination will end the workflow. There's also some advanced nodes, which is relocator, workflow, metadata, form, document, task, discussion, compliance, and review markups. So they be for a bit more advanced workflows. We're just going to work with the standard nodes for today. So I'll add in a couple of decisions and some notifications, and then it's going to be a click, and it appears and you drag and drop. Move that one back over. So this is just a test for a technical submittal process. So we have project manager review, consultant review, notify the engineer the tech sub has been approved, and then that's your final approval. The bottom two here will be rejected by PM and rejected by consultant. So to join a node to node, you click on the plus, the blue box with the plus sign. You click and you drag and you drop, and you can relocate the lines then to suit whatever way you want to detail your workflow. So we link them all up, and then we can fill in the details then after. And then we'll link these two down. So now we want to add the information into the notes. So the first decision is going to be a PM review, so a project manager review, and the question is, please review technical submittal. You have a few tick box options. So is editable? Yes. Is revisable? Yes. Allow markup creation? Yes. Is visible, which will allow the question to be visible in the workflow? That is yes. The duration, we can give the PM 2 days. If the PM doesn't approve it in 2 days, you can have it as an automatic push through when duration is not met. So we'll turn that on. So that we then want to, the panel members, we then want to assign this decision to the project manager. So you click on quick picker, and I'm just going to select myself for this purpose of the training video. And then we also want to click on the notify button. That's going to notify me when this workflow begins and when I have to make a decision. If you have multiple reviews, you can select the weighting of the reviewer, which means you can have a viewer, a commenter, or a weighting of 1 to 3. So if we have 3 or 4 people in this to review, you could set the weighting of one of the main engineers to be 3, so that if a 3 vote and a 1 vote will give you a 4, that can push through the tech sub. You can add some messages, you can add some comments, and you can attach stuff to it as well. But if you hit apply, that will set it up. So that's the first node, the PM review. Second question will be the consultant review. So same again, consultant review question, please review technical submittal. Is editable? Yes. Is revisable? Yes. Allow markups. Is visible? Give them maybe 5 days. Probably wouldn't push this, let this one be pushed on until it's actually approved by the consultants. Quick picker to select who is assigned to it. Again, I'll just pick myself and click notify and then hit apply. Sorry now. Now, so that's a consultant review setup. Then notification then will just be an approval notification. Approval notification that can be sent to the project manager, it can be sent to the project engineer. Just let them know that the consultant engineer has approved the tech sub, and you can continue on then with procurement. So the email text is technical submittal approved, please file away, and hit and recipients. Again, I'm going to add myself in so we'll be able to try it properly. Hit OK and then hit apply. So we've added in the 3 details for our 3 central nodes. The next 3, which are terminations, will be given their details from the green buttons, which is, I suppose, the flow of the workflow. So if I double click the first one on the left hand side, this one here, as you can see, there's already been a number of activity status added in from previous workflows. So the first one, the first flow moves in to the PM review. So we actually have under PM review, and we'll hit apply. The next So when it once goes into the PM review, the PM can approve it and move it on to consultant, which is this green node, or it can reject it down to the rejected folder, which is this green node. So we'll double click here and we'll add the PM rejected first. PM rejected, this one here. Click on it and hit apply, and that fills in this one. Or else the opposite other route is to approve it and move it on to the consultant review, which is this one here. We'll double click on that, and it is approve and move on to consultant review. So you can add that just as in consultant under consultant review, this one here. Apply changes. So when it comes into consultant, the consultant has two choices. They can move it on to the approved notification, or they can move it down to consultant rejected. So again, we'll double click on the green node and we'll go consultant rejected. Click on it and apply. Or we can move it on to approval status. Double click there. These activity statuses have already been set up. If you want to add in a new one, you just go to the top right and click on add activity status. And we will add in consultant approval. And you pick a color. We pick a green maybe. Visible, yes. Description can be the same. And hit OK. So now we actually had two in here, the same one, which doesn't really matter. Click on it and then apply changes. So that added that one in. And then when it comes to the notification status, you can only move on to the final status, which is submittal approved, which is a final submission, and hit apply. So that is our full workflow built. When you're finished your workflow, top right hand side, click Save Workflow. You'll get a notification that just says workflow saved successfully. Click OK and then click Close. Just one thing to point out is if you don't have all the nodes connected up, or you don't have all the information filled in, you cannot save the workflow. So you need to make sure that it's fully populated before you save it. Click Close. So now you see in our workflow tab we have two workflows. We have the one that was already set up by Roxandra, and then we have the new one that was added by myself. You see on the left hand side you have an action bar, which the green play means the two workflows have not been activated. To activate it, you simply click on the green pause button and it now becomes activated. So that workflow is now live for this project. We'll click OK. We'll just run a test now. So if we go to the folder that we set the workflow to work on, which was the RP test 2 folder, I'm going to open that folder and I'm going to upload a new document. I'll just pick something off my desktop. And I'll set the status to final. So we're setting the document to final and we're uploading to the RP test 2, which were the filters that we set on our workflow. So when this uploads, the workflow should begin automatically. So the workflow has been assigned to this document. You can see it here below. We double click on it. It will open up the workflow. As you can see, it's moved straight away to the PM review status and it's been assigned to myself. And if I was to go to the workflow, my emails, I'll see there I have an alert then from 4 projects to say that the document has been uploaded and I've been assigned a PM review status, activity status under PM review. I can go back to the workflow I can double click on the PM review node, and then I can set a vote. So I can say under consultant review, which is approved and moves it on, or I can reject it. So I'm going to move it on now to the consultant and vote. I've now been voted, and I'll just click close. So the workflow has now been moved on to the consultant review. So the node has moved on now from PM review to a consultant review. So again, I should have another notification in my inbox from Viewpoint to say, yes, it's been moved on to consultant review, and now I have to go in action as the consultant engineer. It also will appear in my inbox within Viewpoint. If I click on my inbox and click on my action items, and it will appear in items awaiting my vote. And that's it here again. So double click on the blue button and it opens up the workflow. And it's moved on now to the consultant review. So again, I double click. For this one, actually, I'm going to reject this one. Consultant rejected. And click vote. And it should appear red now beside the document. And I'll click close. I'll just close this window. And I'll close this window as well. And this should refresh. So now the document has appeared with a red circle beside it. Double click on it, and it's just to say, let you know the notification that the workflow has been rejected by the consultant engineer. So the workflow has more or less been stopped now. So generally what we do is we would revise the document. So we will revise this document, right click on it, right click on the mouse and go revise. So when we revise the document, this will automatically restart the workflow. So we'll just show that process now. I'm just going to pick the same document, click open, it's revision 2 and it's set to final, and I will go revise document. So now the document should revise up here and we should see a blue circle here where the workflow has begun again. Perfect. So it's revision 2 of the same document. The workflow status is blue. I'll double click on that and the workflow has begun again with a second revision, and it's looking for a PM review again. I should also have a notification email which is under PM review. So that's perfect, so that workflow has worked. Perfect.